I've showed up on YouTube.
Okay, I'm live as well.
So my levels are cranked. Let's make this a bit more reasonable.
I can see I'm live as well.
I think I'm good. The only thing I can't tell is how the levels are coming through on YouTube.
Sometimes I check it on my phone. I just have a quick look, but like people usually let you know if it's too.
Once some people join in.
I've got my music going now. You won't hear it, but
Oh, you got your background.
hey, Sparky Optrix. How are the levels sounding? Can you hear George talking? George, can you test the mic?
Hello. How are my levels doing? I look like I'm cranked in OBS. Let's go a little bit less.
You could probably OBS is quite
Because I was redlining
sensitive.
so loudly last time, but I don't know why that is. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, all good. We've gotten all good.
Yeah.
That's great. So, I guess we should do an intro of some sort.
We should.
Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome back to another music production live stream with me, Human Synthetics. I'm here with George.
Hello.
And this is on your channel as well, isn't it?
We're double live streaming at the same time.
Yeah. We've not done this before, and it occurred to me like why hadn't we done that? We can just like when we go on a Zoom call, it's usually on your channel, isn't it? But we can actually just do it simultaneously.
It also works quite well launching together and then having. Otherwise, it feels a bit weird that we both start not really talking and then we talk at the end. This
is good. I feel like I remember why I'm doing it now and stuff. Otherwise, it does feel a bit disconnected. So we're here to like spend 2 hours making a track with just sounds from our sample pack, aren't we, George?
That's the plan. Maybe this is our third or fourth head-to-head now that we've done.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? And I mean, I know kind of what I wanted to start with, if you'll permit me.
Yeah, absolutely, far away.
Which is like the context for actually creating the pack, and that was that I reached out to George probably back at just before Christmas. I think this had been like bubbling along for a while, but I knew I would never actually be able to like do something like this, do a project like this without the help of someone like George. After buying a lot of your sample packs and stuff before we knew each other, and I thought this guy knows what he's doing. He'll be able to kind of keep me accountable and help me out and give me advice on what's best to include and kind of the whole process, and be someone to drive the deadline forward. So thanks for that, George.
This was the first one I've actually collaborated on as well. And I really enjoyed the process of throwing ideas back and forwards. And altogether, I think it was definitely the best pack I've put out for sure. So we've started on a really good one, just a very good level. And yeah, I was super happy with what we kind of put out.
Yeah, me too. I didn't actually like. I think for me, like, it's the kind of thing that you think, will I ever do something like this? And I guess that was why it really helped doing it in partnership with you. And I guess there's like a safety in you have these lots of these ideas. I know you do, and there's a safety in them never actually coming to be anything. Almost, it's like you can have all these crazy ideas, but unless you realise them and actually like put something out. So yeah, I was like really happy with what the end product was like as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where everyone makes samples and sort of saves bits and bobs of their work into folders and whatever, but there's a lot of steps in kind of doing the sample pack and the artwork and finalizing all the sounds and in the editing, and just lots of little bits to kind of bring it to the final stage, which is I've definitely worked that through trial and error, and maybe I was able to help you a little bit through some of those sort of stages of kind of putting out the finished product.
Yeah, for sure. No, you definitely did, completely. And we had many Zoom calls, didn't we, like listening through to what we created and kind of shortlisting all the sounds that we were going to include. A lot of pretty wonky sounds on my end, I feel, and that probably comes like down to a difference in like the process of how we went about creating them.
Yeah, but what's really cool about it is it almost doesn't matter how you create the sounds when you're left with the final 300 or whatever we had, and then we just went through them and were quite sort of savage about how
Yeah.
the ones we kept in, the ones we didn't, and even if you've gone through a weird generative process to make the sound, if it's good enough relative to all the other ones, then it kind of makes the cut.
Yeah. No, it was, and I was surprised at some of the choices as well. That you were like, yeah, that's a good, that like what you thought should be included, with very good reason for why it should be as well. Like, so particularly some of the bass sounds, because I probably made about 300 like wavs for the bass stuff. A lot of them were very similar because of like the generative approach for making them that I was using. And that kind of probably revealed quite a lot in like the difference in like how we approach something like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And like, I know you tend to, would you say your approach is like more compositional almost in the sound? Like you've got maybe, you know, like how do you go about it that's like different?
Yeah,
to me, maybe.
I maybe have two like, because yours I think was definitely more generative in the way you did it, and mine was, I do one more like sound effects, because I do the sound effects in my videos. I get quite used to sort of layering sounds up and fading them and EQing them and whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I do some like that, and then I do all the weird effects techniques in Renoise and the kind of maybe that's more similar to the approach that you take, actually, just having like big plug-in chains and doing big long recordings and messing with lots of things and sort of chopping it up at the end.
Yeah, for totally. Like, because I live stream quite a lot of my sound design sessions, and I know you like made like videos on them, like videos on the process as well. And that kind of added another dimension of like, I had to try and make something good because I was on a live stream, or I certainly felt that a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah, but it's actually a really good process to go through, because it opens up your brain to just being creative without any of the restrictions you would usually put on yourself. And it's quite fun just to sort of have an open session and be like, even if I make 5 good sounds in this hour, that's enough. And you just get to throw lots of ideas out there and see what happens.
Yeah. And because you showed me some of your projects and they were like enormous, and like were you struggling to open them, or was that me? I don't know. Like, we both had quite unwieldy project files with all of the like stuff that we'd been making in them.
Yeah, I almost get to that point where the CPU's breaking, and then I just open a new one, and then I never look back, and all the good hard work is just left there in a sort of pit. Yeah,
it's like it's like very sketchy in a way. Would you say, like?
Yeah, it's all sort of sketching.
Yeah.
And then maybe the bit I'm lucky to have is I have these lovely old samplers from the 90s.
Oh, like you should talk about those.
And the Akai, and the classic trick of pitching the sounds up in the computer and then recording them in pitched up and then pitching them back down in the samplers to get all the character and the grit. I do that to a lot of the sounds, and people always like debate whether there's magic in these old samplers, but for whatever it is, I think it gives them an extra 5 or 10% of realism or grit or something that makes them more attractive to hear.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think you can hear it in your sounds, and you can hear it in like a lot of your other packs as well, for sure. And you can definitely tell the difference. And that was something we debated as well, wasn't it? Like some of the stuff I'd made, whether we should run it through, whether you might run it through them and stuff like that. You did run stuff through it, did you? Or like the EMU and stuff?
I did loads, yeah. I would usually label up in just as part of my process, but I end up leaving the labels in the file names of what hardware I've used, and sometimes even if I've done the pitching technique, I'll put that in, or if I've done sample rate reduction or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I need to know it, and then I feel like people quite like actually seeing what's happened to the sounds and the process they've gone through.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely can hear that like added character. Yeah. So, did you feel like you made I felt maybe in reflection like there are certain areas where you did a bit more or I did a bit more, like with the kind of sounds we were contributing, like your pads and stuff. And some of the effects and like the Atmos things that I was creating. Is there like a particular what do you love to make most?
Oh, I love the atmospheric pads.
Yeah.
And yeah, the atmospheric pads are the most satisfying
Yeah.
ones to make. Also because you almost get a whole track in one sound,
Yeah.
which is great. But yeah, I think you did loads of cool drones, and all the drums were really cool that you put
Yeah.
together, and a lot of the
Thank you.
bass sounds. So we filled in a lot of the sort of different areas.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And was there any like equipment you were leaning into, like when you were making them, or like processes, anything, any like learnings?
Yeah, I did a video of like all the effects techniques I use to make them. And I do, just because Renoise is such a creative DAW to work in, you stumble upon weird time stretching things you can do in there, and messing with macros and looping in weird ways to make cool effects.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything I can get a cool sound out, especially with effects, I never want it to be to a BPM, or it wants to be sort of more organic, whatever it is, the sounds.
Yeah.
And I think Renoise is just awesome for that kind of workflow.
Yeah. I still struggle to kind of get my head around trackers in that way, in the same way you do. And I guess that probably added a different slant to what the finished product ended up being as well, just like different DAWs, different processes, different workflows.
I mean, Ableton's so, because we definitely, your approach to music is much more of a live performance one, from all your live streaming and the kind of live shows you do. I think that gives you like an edge in that regard, especially in these head-to-heads. I always feel like I'm coming up against it because this is sort of your territory. But then Renoise is like a secret weapon of a producer. If you can get your head around it, because it's even, I know Renoise so well now, but I had times when I tried to learn and then I shelved it for a bit, and then I came back half year later.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of getting into. There's a big learning curve as a program, but it's very rewarding once you can get over that.
Yeah, I think it's like it does the workflow for like break stuff. As we've talked about this loads before, haven't we? Like when we've done head to heads, like it is a great workflow for like drum breaks and stuff. And I feel like it is quicker than Ableton. I've just managed to kind of, I feel like, work around Ableton's restriction or Ableton's differences in a way.
Yeah, because we've done stuff before when you've been using Amigo in Ableton in a tracker style and things like that. So Ableton it's a powerhouse of a DAW. You can do anything.
Yeah.
But they all lean to certain directions, and Renoise definitely does to break work, break chopping and things like that.
Yeah, so I've just pulled up the like where people can get the pack if they're interested on your website, isn't it? groovinbiz.co.uk.
Yeah.
So we were talking we might go through. Was there one standout sound for you, or can you remember off the top of your head?
I said last night that I love the James the Dealer pad. James the Dealer.
Yeah.
Is the one I always use.
Shall I see if I can find that, or is it in the shortlisted?
It's in the It's in the pack on the pad section.
Is it? I'm just seeing if it's on your you've got a player of demo of some of the sounds.
Oh, I don't know if I put it in that bit actually on the website.
Let me just load it in. James the Dealer. I think for me it was probably like that. The one that I made.
You made actually a really. I've used one of the pads you made for so many bits of promo and backgrounds for my YouTube track.
Yeah,
as well.
Which one was that?
It's the kind of ambient.
It's not the Canada.
The Canada soundscape. Yeah. Both of them actually, and I pitched them around as well. They're like a perfect ambient sort of background to a video.
I'm looking for James the Dealer now. I've probably just passed it.
All Future World Machine said the breaks in the pack were excellent. I wish there were more. Yeah, maybe we were thinking maybe we can throw this out there. We had a kind of a business chat the other night, me and Alex. We were thinking about doing a Breaks 101 course with different modules in. Alex was going to do some in Ableton, and I might do a Renoise and Logic, just to sort of fill out all of our knowledge and put it in a really sort of beginner to advanced level structured course, and then maybe we could do a breaks pack along with that.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. You heard it here first.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a brilliant idea, and it's something that we've been chatting about, like kind of on the surface, haven't we, for a while, about doing something like that. And I know that's something you're really keen to do. What do people think of it, incidentally?
Yeah, I hope people would like it. I definitely get a lot of YouTube comments. I think it's just really good if you're starting out to have a more structured kind of
Yeah,
lesson, practical step-by-step thing you can follow. Then YouTube's amazing because everything's free and everything's there.
I think it's like. Sorry, carry on.
So no, you go.
Like, it is like there's a lot of like surface level stuff, isn't there? And it's like there's and I guess like having a curriculum or having like a definitive, like because obviously you're getting a bit from this video and a bit from that video, and maybe it's not holistic, maybe it's not like a complete overlook of the whole thing, like DAW, equipment, hardware, samples, like where you're getting your sound from and all this stuff. It's not like it's not a complete picture. And so people have to like go to various places to kind of get the knowledge, and it can feel like maybe, I don't know, stuff is being missed out. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, I think I've always found is you get conflicting ideas and techniques, and it becomes, especially with break chopping, there's lots of nuance to it in the method you're following it, and it can be so confusing trying to figure out all the different kind of practices that people are using, and if they're time stretching or if they're whatever they're doing, the way they're chopping their breaks. Even in that one small subset of music making, there's hours and hours of material. It's such a broad music, learning about music, there's just never ending information out there.
I mean, so forgive me, because when I was searching for the sounds there, I was kind of trying to listen to you too, and like one thing that I wanted to mention was like, I think this is the thing, like, and we spoke about this, is like it's very easy with like short form content, with everything that's available for like long, classic length YouTube videos and everything, that you think in 15 minutes that you've got kind of like a snap, you learn all you need to know, if you get me, or in a 2-minute short or something, that it makes you feel like you have gained the knowledge, if you know what I mean. But when you actually go to put this stuff in practice, and when you try to incorporate it in your own music, it really is like a very much a lifelong thing, or it's much deeper than it appears at the surface level. You only ever see kind of what a creator wants you to see, almost, or like, and this, because you're making videos, I'm making videos, and there's just it's such a broad subject, a lifelong thing, really.
Yeah, there's definitely, especially, because I get to edit my videos even more than you do.
Yeah.
I chop a 2-hour video into 7 minutes, and it all looks like it's so easy to do. But there's loads of mistakes and trial and error in that process.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the same with making music, which or chopping breaks, or any aspect of it. It's like, you can do it for years, and I don't think I've been doing it for that long, but you're still learning new things, and all the time with music generally, every day there's something new to be learned, even after 25 years of making it.
That's why some of the best engineers are in their 60s and 70s, as long as your ears hold up. But the knowledge, it never really sort of runs out. You can keep learning and improving your skills indefinitely, really.
So I've loaded up the sounds. You won't be able to see these, but like I've got James the Dealer. James, what is it? James the Dealer got nicked.
It's because of the evolution of it. It started as James's pad, and then I started adding names bit by bit every time I resampled it.
And then we've got Canada 3 AM F minor soundscape. So yeah, if we just give these a listen, people like if you go on the Groovin Biz website, you can hear like a demo of some of the breaks and stuff like that. So and I'll be using them, and I'm sure George will have to as well. We'll be using them. So if you're just checking out the respective streams when we get going, you'll hear a selection of them. So hopefully this is good volume.
I'm not going to hear this, but I can play it on my. I have to time it at the same time. I think they can just see my screen. I don't know if they can see my screen like this.
I could maybe share my screen. I don't know how that
Yeah,
works.
share your screen, because then it will play through to my...
This is high tech. Okay, I've just moved off thing off here, right? So better make sure I share the right one. Desktop 2. Share. Yeah, you seeing that?
Yes, yeah. There we go.
This is good. Okay, let me share sound. This is stressful enough off stream, sharing sound on Zoom. Keep doing the wrong thing. Right, and then we'll...
See
You see that?
I can, but my Zoom is just looking at my face. If I and here we go. I can put it on. There we go. That's worked.
All right. So just test it. You test the level. You might hear this. No.
I can't hear that coming through mine. But
So
that might be
if I put this through Zoom, it might mess up the stream.
Oh, we're getting really in the...
I think we're okay.
Okay.
Let's try.
Yeah, it's
fine.
coming through.
I've not heard this. Lush. I feel that's a place to start. We can't both start there though.
No, well, that was where I was planning to. But if you want to,
no, I'll do something different. Yeah. So, and then this is the Canada 3 a.m. Pretty good, isn't it? Like, it just loops round. I think I did almost like 16 or 32 bars of this.
Got really good texture, like the rainy.
It's like a radio static. Actually resampled from radio broadcast.
Nice.
Yeah. And you can hear. I had like a web browser based radio station. You can kind of scan through, resample, and then you can use that as like texturing pads and stuff like that, and the little like glitchy noises you're hearing in the background. But yeah, that one was made on stream. So with Serum at the heart, Serum 2.
There we go.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, that's a 10 out of 10.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Okay, so we're at 20 minutes now. We should probably like go off and get cracking.
Yeah.
Let me just stop this. I'll stop the share and then... cool. So we're going to go off and like spend 2 hours on this, aren't we? So come back at like 9:30?
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Or 20, I've got 23 minutes past 7.
We'll make it 2 hours on the dot when we...
All right. So we could leave Zoom open and just like... I might move you onto another screen and hide my cam. What are you saying?
And then we can it's just save it. Yeah, okay, let's do that.
I could even check
in video.
Yeah. Yo, George, how's it going?
Yeah. I'll sabotage your stream in the middle of it. Okay, perfect. Let's rock and roll, and then we'll catch up in a couple of hours.
All right, nice one, G.
Good
Thanks
luck.
a lot. See you in a bit. Bye.
See you.
Okay. So it's me back here. I feels quite lonely now. George has gone. Thanks very much, guys. Just catching up. I'm just going to shout out my patrons because I've got a couple of new people to announce. That's not right for some reason. Let me just update that. Yeah, 2 hours to make a tune using just the sounds from the pack. Jump over here. I'm using Streamlabs and it can be a bit glitchy. Even if you set everything right before. Here we go, yeah. Carl J. Rush, thanks very much for the pledge yesterday, I think it was. And Ryan Licelli. Or is it Licelli? I hope I'm pronouncing Licelli. Hey Govara, thanks very much for the pledge on Patreon. Boris Kapica, thanks very much. Mike Ryan and Nick. one more. I think I did those the other week. But thanks very much for everyone who supports me on Patreon. If you're interested in all that stuff, links are in the YouTube description and on Twitch. And I recently shared my live set on there, my latest version of it, and I've got a project file for my Planetary Drift Volume 3 release dropping on there next, with a little bit of a breakdown video and everything. So lots of good stuff happening on there. Thanks to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Okay, let's jump back. So I guess you can like flip between George and me. I've done no prep or like practice on this really. I have used the textures and stuff in other tunes already. So I guess where to start and like how we're going to approach this. So I did think about maybe like, should I use stuff like Amigo? And I don't think I will do that. I think I will probably just stick to samplers. And it's one thing George and I should have done is kind of laid out what other additional effects we can use. But I think within limitation, it's fine. So I'll probably just be loading them into samplers and maybe manipulating them a bit further. I don't know. George might just go crazy off the wall. So whenever, like, if when I get a new sample pack, I like to just use it like as in the same way as a focus means of sketching a load of ideas and stuff like that. I find it's because we all get them and then they kind of get shelved and something new comes along. So it can be nice to kind of capitalize on having it and kind of make a few, use it as a creative limitation. So I don't think I'll start with the breaks. I think I'm going to build up something first, or just go through. Maybe start with the. I just need to sort my sound out here. Nice. I didn't say it, but like all of George's pads are so good. I still use a lot of his other packs, like his Planet Jungle one and stuff like that. Okay, I like that. What I might do, I might just start loading them in. That's pretty cool. That's nice. So if we're in B flat minor, then we'd have to take this down. Maybe I could show you that. If we're in B flat, which is here, this key, the third flat key up in the row of 3, B flat, D is here, this one. So we just take it down 1, 2, 3, and that should be right. It should work in key. I'm going to try another. Okay, no, it doesn't. That's not right. D minor, B flat minor. One, two, three, four. Sorry, I'm giving you the wrong. B flat is, yeah, it's 4. There we go. Nice. We'll go for like B flat then. That should be a good enough key. I might have to maybe we've got like a. I want to make something quite dark and like you could probably use that to make like a Reese. Maybe if we like filtered this. Help if this was plugged in. Hey Sarah on Twitch. So we could probably like make a use this make this into a static Reese. So this is F. Cool. Just tune it. So I'll just put in some breaks. These breaks. Pretty good. Got a nice little thing going on there, isn't it? That's quite a nice Reese as well. I might just create another Reese. So we've got this one in G. That's a good one. Different phases here. Nice. Cool, something like that. Looking for a note in between, but there isn't any. Yeah, we'll roll with that, and maybe we could do the same on this one as well. They're all in different. They're in different keys because the resampled bass notes are different. But we'll figure that out. This is in F minor, so it'll be just one below. Let's record that. Okay, it's kind of nice. I might add some more MIDI. Wonder if we could do something with like some kind of pitch envelope on this, maybe in the sampler. Maybe make this start. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, cool, like that, something like that. Cool, so like having these is a bit of a call and response type thing. And we're just like, I'll probably literally just gonna have yeah, you can happen here. I just want it to be bang on the money with the MIDI note. You could say like, why am I even bother playing these in if I'm just gonna do this here? But I feel it just helps me to work out where I'm going to place the notes, as it were. So we'll have like this 16 bar, and on the last one we just don't do it on the last one, and have a different bass sound. Probably will have a little bit of reverb. I think that's okay. If I was mixing this like with other samples, I I would use reverb. Oh, don't like it where Ableton does this. I might use that tiny space. That was good. Nice Peep Show references. The longer the note, the longer the dread. I think we need more core on Glay. See, that like sounds a bit off to me now because why is this like I swear I legatoed all these and stuff. So we want Mr. Grooves, I think like having a variety, it's a very good point. I used to avoid using loop samples because I thought it was cheating and that was dumb of me. I think like having, you want as like an artist, you want all the possible ways. I think you want to explore all the possible ways and never have anything shot off to you. And sometimes that is like using other people's samples, and sometimes that's like making everything yourself and a mix of the two. You know, sometimes it's hardware, software. I think why would you ever want to shut yourself off to any like creative avenue? Is my generally my feeling of like the kind of music making practice is like I will try and I will use anything really. And I think keeping an open creative mind is the way to be. So we could probably use this mashup amp bass. I made this one. I think what you're saying about band passing stuff is good as well. Good shout. We could do that with this. I'm going to try and keep everything just in sampler. Nice. Cool, yeah, we'll have some LFO on that. I've just done this actually. I'll do it with the envelope we'll have it go like down or up. We'll drop it down. Nice. nice. Just like throwing ideas out at the moment with some pads now. Yeah, we've got some nice. That's pretty good. Maybe that's going into super plate sound toys. Let's just find something in here. Yeah, that's great. Cool, yeah, I think that band pass is such... I think you did this the other night, Mr. Grooves. I was going to... suggested something. Or... That was really good. I'll try and get it like that, yeah. Bring that. Maybe go the other way. Sampler again with the pad sound. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put another file on it. It's a good shout. See what other sounds we've got in here. Maybe some other breaks. Although these pads are sounding quite nice. I'm going to probably chuck some... Oh, the synth shots are good. So I think we are in B minor. Going to check the tuning of the bass now because I pitched it down quite a lot. Cool, D sharp. I want to do like a that's some sort of arpeggiated line here. The chord device is actually quite good for this now because you can like do like little runs, like strums. They're quite cool. If we do a scale device here, we're in like B flat minor, which is also A sharp. And we'll just do like minor pentatonic. I like to add this little major second, maybe do a third and a seventh, and like a 12th or something like that. That's cool. Let's see what ones we've got. Nice. That's good. Going into like some longer delay. This is good. Try this. Nice. Haha. They're good. I'm not sure which to pick. I want to check the delays on that. I want this to be a bit more. Cool, let's do some more glinty things. That was a nice little happy accident. Nice, isn't it? It's going into a shimmer, I think, there. This ring mod, what do you think? Pitch bend it? Fixed envelope? Or LFO it? Do you like some vibrato or more of a this? You put it up 3. Yeah. Need to decay longer. Pretty sick, actually, isn't it? Okay, what else we got on the drums? Probably add some of these at the end. I feel like I've got a bit of an idea. Yeah, maybe do some like break switchage. What I might do actually is just like crust this, make this crusty, a bit more crusty, using the Tal DAC. I like this. Bam past that. How's George getting on? Yeah, I'd have this like as a bit of a break switch. got like some variations on it here. Legato and make this legato as well, so we switch they off. So there's stuff that's quite a good one. That's a nice hard kick on that one. We could maybe actually I might chop this up a bit actually, just have like the switch happening. That's fine, we'll just keep it in this, we'll slice it, and we'll probably drop the sensitivity down because it's already been like reprogrammed anyway, so it's pretty tight. KD, yeah, all of these are in the pack, the Echoes of Light pack. All of these breaks and stuff. Everything you're hearing. Thanks, Mr. Grooves. Thanks for what you were saying earlier on about me and George on the stream together. Okay, so this I kind of want like a this pattern. What do just zone in on it here. Maybe just drop that down a bit in velocity. This one too. This super plate is so good. Big garage. It's quite narrow. Oh, that's what we want. The width, like. So these have both got quite weighty kicks. So one thing I often do is like go into the envelope and just draw like stuff in the clip view. The gain. It's quick. Maybe that snare. See what that's like. Maybe just have that snare coming in. Just out of time, I'll just copy that automation. Do that. Hey Grace, I think I saw you on. How you doing? Come on, man. Don't duplicate. Make the whale go low. Craddock, you still there? That's quite like Seba-esque, that. So I just want to... You could just chop this up. That's a nice one too. No, I don't want any amens. Okay, how are we doing for time? I've got a few options there. Both of those have got chunky kicks, so what am I going to do? That is in there, isn't it? I'm going to maybe chop some of this. I want that. I want the little shuffle that's in here. Where is that? Let's slice this. And I might just do it in like mono mode. Right, mono. Pull the sensitivity quite far down. That. Step of that really. where's that D? What's that? I think that's pretty good. That sounded. Nope. There's a lot of kicks in this one. That's I was just getting rid of the kicks in this. make like a stop for this. Just it just triggers this. Okay. Why's that not working? I want it to be gate. Yeah. Cool, gate. And this one doesn't matter because it's on mono playback. Just make it into an 8-bar. Nice. I think we've got like a bit of an idea there. And I could certainly like build stuff around that. There's loads of good stuff in there as well. Add in some bass effects or something. That's a nice one. Oh yeah. That's a nice. Love that at some point as well. Band past that. Kind of shaper. This. Nice. Oh yeah, I love this one. I made this one. It kind of comes in. It's here. There. I want to get this sound. That's better. That sample needs to carry on. How are we doing for time? I've got like another hour, so just have the release up at 4. Nice. Maybe I've got another. That's nice, isn't it? Maybe I could just stick this in here, see what it does. cowbell, yeah. I wonder if that's from the break. I feel like we've got like certainly enough core elements in there that we could probably make that into a bit of an arrangement and then just spend the rest of the time like embellishing the... Can I do this? Can I jam it out? We'll see. Okay. I need a shot where you can see my APC. Okay. So I kind of feel like I want a hi-hat or something, but maybe we'll just like go straight into it with some, I thought, some kind of atmospheres or something, isn't it? You know. Let's stop this, right? This one, I'm going to have this going like follow actions, play again after every 8 bars. There's quite a lot of like delay, we'll tidy that up in a minute. we're going to have these as break. Okay. Ooh. I want this to be repeating after every 8 bars as well. So again, I do this quite a lot if I want to keep the samples like from putting them in a sample, like any kind of warping, or I'll just often have them in clip view like this. I've probably got too many bass part. I've got too much that I can trigger on my controller here, but let's just keep going. 1, 2, 3. We'll do this 1, 2. We'll trigger that together. I love them. Yeah, I love follow actions. This is too long. Tripping me out that was, because it's like 9 bars long. No wonder it's start again. 3, 4. I feel like is that even necessary? That's better. Yeah, arranging an intro. So one thing, I'm gonna have to. I'll start this again. I've still got time. What I want is a hi-hat. Let's find a hi-hat from one of the breaks. Got anything in there? Let's make one. Cool. I've got an idea of a pattern in mind. I always do a very similar thing for. So we'll just like make you 110, make you 100. Gosh. I just want a hi-hat that I can bring in. 105. Make you 110. Make you 120. 10. Weighty. Nice. Cool. That's going to be like a... I wonder that sounded rubbish. I don't know. I always kind of like this one more. Okay, let's see if I can record that again. We'll try again. We'll just start with, we can start with a hi-hat. We'll just duplicate this and just have this like happen half time. Like that. Let's go for it. Of this. Cool, okay. That was made from white noise. I'll go start with this as well. Thanks, Akia, for the previous. 1, 2, 3. still got time, so I think I've got a bit of a jam going on. What I'm gonna have to do is like, I want to be over here on the breaks side of things actually, so I can switch over, because I'm really missing not having these here, like to be able to trigger. Let's try again. So 1 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. there we go. How long we got? Like 20 minutes, I think, to kind of sort that out. Lake Town, thanks very much. Yeah, good. I'm glad. It was touch and go at points. It always is. Okay, I think we could probably like spend. That's like definitely a 6-minute track. I feel that switch is quite nice where we drop out the. You know, here you could almost. Just have like just band pass it. Just do like some really dirty automation. I will put this on Patreon as well. This, and it's worth saying there's like I shared all of the shortlisted files on Patreon as well for all of the samples. So yeah, they're on there. That's nice. Can we? I don't know if I want this coming in there. I almost feel like we want this break here, you know. Yeah, that there really. It's quite like. Just that bit. pattern there. I'm tripping. Alright, cool. Let's just get to that drop, see if we can sort that out in like 20 minutes. What I wanted was like the bass to come in. This. I want this to come in like here. Or even like here maybe. This happens too often. I want this every like 16. Nice one, chat. Thanks very much. Thanks, Playtown. Which note is this? I think I actually want this to be... kind of think I want it to be that. Yeah. It's this pattern, isn't it? Big up Lake Town, thanks very much, mate. Have to skip to the breakdown there, yeah? Let's just chuck in one of those. do like a clip of the delay on the end there. Let's just automate some of that. Bring that down a bit. Just fade this out at the end. Cool, there we go. I think that's certainly. Might see if I can get in touch with George now. Let's play that back. Pretty good. I think I ended up spending quite a bit of time in those breaks, but. Yeah. That's that. I'd be tempted to add like a sound clash vocal or something there. It sounds a bit Fracture-esque, this, to be honest. Okay. There we go. That's not bad, is it? I don't not sure what I should call this. Thank you, George. Nice to see you, mate. How are you? Something like that, something techie. Okay, different place. Right, I'm going to try and get hold of George now while we listen to this.
Oh, hello, Alex.
Hello. Sorry,
I was just cheating and adding a vocal sample.
Yeah,
right at the end, I ran out of time.
That's good, man. Don't worry. I've stopped.
On my thing, on my levels.
How are you?
Maybe I just turn you up here. If you keep speaking.
Test one. Yeah, I think we sometimes, because the routing you have.
I think that's good because I can control it from my mixer. Hopefully that's okay now. I can hear you good.
Test one, test two.
Yeah, that's looking good. Nice. How did you get on?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, actually. I felt happy about that. How about you?
Yeah, I got a finished tune pretty much. Nearly there. I got through the arrangement pretty well. I really struggled to get a lead in, even a 3-note, half-note delay Artemis, my classic technique. I just couldn't. I tried about 3 or 4 times, but I eventually got something.
So could you, were you trying to use a bit of everything?
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. That's very diligent of you, because I kind of just, I don't know, probably use 10 sounds or something, but...
that's good. That's a more minimal approach, which is also, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Both ends of the scale, really. Yeah. So, yeah. Do you want to what was your approach? What did you do? Or do you want should we listen to them first? Or
yeah, maybe. Okay, I can go first if you want, and then shall I? Maybe I'll just play the track. If I share the screen.
That sounds good. Okay. I have to make sure I don't dox myself. I'm not used to going on Zoom. Let me just allow this, make sure. You should be able... Can you share now?
Oh, he's still quiet. He's a bit low on their end. Okay, you'll have to turn you up even more.
Test one.
Okay, that should be Okay.
Test one. Test one. 1, 2.
Yeah.
On the
Oh, I see
George
why.
Dashwood.
I can tell you what I can turn you up here. Cool.
1, 2. 1, 2 on the George Dashwood stream.
Nice. They can hear you now.
This is the reality of going live.
It's always a bit messy. If I share,
You can share now, can you?
saying it didn't change.
Okay.
Saying it didn't change, but I feel like it must do. I can see the level coming in.
They say so. Is it all right? Am I okay?
I can hear you perfectly fine, which is good. Otherwise, I don't really know what else to do here.
The chat is your chat saying that I'm quiet.
Yeah, they're saying it. Even though I messed with the mixer levels, it didn't actually affect the. I don't really know. It's almost. I don't have a solution for this one, I'm afraid.
Look, you can be my interpreter.
Yes.
Okay, so you can just repeat back what I say.
I'll just do a voiceover as a.
So if I say anything good, you can say Alex just said blah blah blah.
Yes. Yeah, as if we're speaking a foreign language. They can hear me. That's something.
You said You said that. Sorry, the chat on my end is saying that you sound good. So.
Okay, well at least they can jump on your stream then.
Yeah, you can jump on here if you want. But
I could always end my stream and then everyone can just come to yours. That maybe we always have problems like this, and that's why we always.
Well,
okay. We'll leave it as it is.
Can you share now?
Yes, I can share. Let me share my screen. Share sound. Stereo. Cool. Okay, we're in.
Great. Okay, I'll make that big for people. This is the future.
Can you hear the sound? Whoa.
No, I can't hear
max
that.
level there.
I can't hear that, unfortunately.
That's going to have to come through the Zoom output. I might have absolutely slammed that through my mixers.
Don't stress, man. This is just the realities of.
Apologies to anyone in headphones that.
Turn everything down, folks. Okay, you're good. You're good on my end.
Tell you what's happened though is I've come in. I've just got to go down in level for me. Otherwise, I'm never going to hear again.
Mate, your ears are paramount. Your ear protection is paramount.
Volume. Okay, cool. That's okay for me.
So maybe we don't speak when we're playing because it's quite loud, and I want.
Is it loud for you as well on your end?
No, it just sounds like a full, well-made piece of music. Do you know what I mean? So I want people to be able to listen to it.
I'm definitely hitting it into a limiter. My process was like usual, just throwing paint at the wall and seeing what comes out.
Yeah. Me too.
But I did have a plan for the start, which went pretty well. The first 10 minutes of the stream was by far the best when I was just working. I started with the James the Dealer pad.
Okay.
With kind of this.
Nice.
Doing like a layered pad. So this is what I do all the time is create a loop of a pad and then filter multiple pads in different ways. So this one's got a high pass, and then if you look at this one, it's got a low pass. So I kind of layered up multiple. This is doing all the warm stuff.
Yeah. So it's just the same sample you got there.
Same sample, but then you have to always pitch them around. You can see I've pitched this one to kind of match the key. No, different samples. So one's James the Dealer, one's the classic analog, and one is something else.
Okay.
They're all different pads.
I got you.
Like a combo. And so I've got all three of them sort of moving around. And I'm doing some LFO to gain for volume automation and modulation, and also to filters. And so everything's just sort of moving.
Nice. Sounds lovely.
And I worked on this just until I could just listen to it, kind of repeating as it is without being annoying.
Okay.
It's always my plan, just so it's sort of breathing and it just
yeah. You want like some organic. You want a sense of momentum. Almost,
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly that. And another thing that I do all the time is to sort of take one of these pads, and then pitch it up an octave.
Mm-hmm.
So have the two of the same pad layered, one low and one high.
Yeah.
kind of develop that further throughout the track.
Very nice, very nice.
It just keeps getting more lush, really. And then I've got this was the sample I was telling you about that I love using, is the Song of the Ancients.
Oh yeah, okay.
I use this one all the time.
Nice.
Like a bit of a vocal.
You know, that's actually nice. Lovely.
Just into the breakdown now. So that was the basis of all the pad stuff, and then apart from that, the drums, I did a bit of like a patchwork of different parts of the breaks together.
Yeah, me too.
So this is one of your kicks from maybe this Dragon Break or something.
Yeah.
And then I've got the funky drummer snare, and then another hi-hat from somewhere, and then eventually an amen break comes in a bit later on. Which is quite a complicated way to make breaks sometimes, but quite fun because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. It can be a bit of a lottery, can't it?
You can definitely put in a solid half an hour and then come out with something you're not very happy with.
Yeah, man. At least I've wasted like an hour and a half just tweaking and chopping stuff, and when I listen back to it the next day, it's like, oh no, this is just, what was I thinking? You know.
It sounds good at the time because you've come from usually quite a terrible place, but then it's not good enough the final result.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a mad science, definitely. Break layering and
it's hit and miss, for sure. Yeah,
hit and miss. But I do find myself doing some of the same tricks over and over again.
Yeah, me too.
One of them I love is like a filter suite. So here, this I have it rolling.
Nice, yeah.
So like,
I've done something like that. I did some.
It.
Yeah,
that's always a good one. And then just a delay send as well. I'm using some. I think with a lot of these, this snare drum, I actually found a really cool trick, which I never even knew existed in Renoise. But you can basically in Renoise, I can trigger this LFO, the reset of this LFO whenever I want. And I can also tailor where in this sort of graph it starts from.
Nice, okay.
So kind of, this is sending to the delay, this automation.
I get you. This is almost like an LFO device in Ableton or something. Just set.
It's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, set really low.
It's... Anyway,
sorry,
Logic doesn't have anything like this to sort of trigger your automation this way, but it's so easy because once you've set this up, you can just copy that code around anywhere and re-trigger whatever you've drawn in here really easily. So it takes a bit of setting up, but then it makes the automation actually really simple to put in.
Nice.
And that's kind of most of it, apart from a few effects and sort of. I used the respace.
Me too. I use that one.
Anyway, maybe I'll just give you a playthrough.
Yeah, man, go for it. Run it.
Just bits and bobs. So here we go.
Very nice.
There you go. It kind of gets going a little bit more in the second half.
I think like this is the first like full thing you've finished.
Yeah,
Like a cohesive idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's congratulations. That's a triumph for that.
Come on, let's get it.
Yeah, man, that's good. Like, because like the last couple of times, maybe it's been, or like the first time, like minute and a half, and then that's really good. And the track is wicked as well.
The pads are definitely, of course, sort of hold it all together.
Yeah, I like the chord progression you're doing on the resto. That was cool. I like the space you were leaving in the bass and stuff, and like obviously all the normal stuff you do with the breaks and everything was lovely. But I think like the overall arc of the track was really nice.
Thanks, man.
It was
I was happy that not every part of it I love, but it's the overall. I think it was a solid effort.
For 2 hours with just a limited palette of samples. You know, it's pretty good.
I love just working with samples. It's the most, because it's so random. You never know what your tune's going to come out with. I think it just makes it a really fun process.
Yeah, for sure. Shall I share mine?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Let's if I stop sharing and dive into yours, let's do it.
God, I've got to make sure I share the right. That's this one, yeah. Yes, let me just share sound. And I'll tell you what I did for mine as well. I think mine's definitely a bit darker. Yours is quite
because you could kind of go either way with the pack with the sounds.
Yeah. Like if you dig more into the pads and stuff, and I feel like some of the pads are quite uplifting. And I suppose like I leant straight into the bass sounds, into like the call and response stuff of the bass, and then into the breaks, and really just quite. I think I knew I wanted to create something quite minimal and dark, so and I probably would have added more samples. I think the thing is like the way I write stuff is often I try and fit everything in like 8 channels so that I can jam it with the APC. You know, the grid controller, and then usually I add stuff as I work in it more. So anything that's like bigger than 8 channels, I start to get a bit I'm like, I should probably just get this arrangement down and then I can add more stuff as I go. So
even 15 is quite a small sort of track for amount of channels.
Yeah, I mean typically my tunes like don't ever go beyond 30 channels really. You know, there'll be drum racks with lots of stuff in. So essentially, maybe there are more than that. But
yeah, you can kind of package it a little bit easier. Sometimes.
Yeah. There'll be lots of sound, lots of stuff, and then of course I use return channels quite a lot. But yeah, let's give this a listen. I'll let you. I mean, it's really kind of like a bass, almost like kind of a techie drum funk thing.
I'm intrigued to hear how it sounds.
Yeah. I just need to make sure I've got it. Okay, so just check the levels. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was excellent. The dimension you do so well, uh, with those like kind of layered bass noises taking your ear off into space.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank
it was
you.
all sort of the call and response, wasn't it, against that main bass
Yeah.
noise, and then everything's kind of bouncing off that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it was
yeah.
awesome, man. It was really good.
Yeah, it's like I get kind of flashbacks to being like a metal guitar player and playing like riffs. Do you know what I mean? Like, particularly when the bass was doing. You've got like the call and response between these two main bass parts here, and there's like you can see where I've made space for them. It's like a guitar, like boom, like I'm playing a riff.
So satisfying, though.
Yeah. And there's like various other bits that are filling in these bass parts here. We both use that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's got a cool bit at the end of that, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, like I kind of like all these like subtle delay sounds that are kind of going on, and I don't know. I seem to be like a lot of what I'm writing is like this at the moment, and I kind of really love that like atmospheric but hard sound. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff that's like really kind of.
It's got momentum, isn't it?
Like
a driving sort of track. Something
that's heavy, but also like really dreamy and atmospheric is kind of what I'm into. Like something that's a bit gritty, and that just seems to be where like my creative how things end up coming out at the moment. But I think that like the break really helped. This break, and really I just kind of chopped stuff up quite basic. I didn't use too many effects or anything. You've got these call and response layers and a hi-hat. I made the hi-hat from the white noise riser that I just enveloped down. Yeah. I was
wondering how you did that.
It could be up a bit, to be honest. And then just another break here. Classic kind of drum funk stuff, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of like when we're making stuff like this, it feels like I'm making stuff with your sounds. Do you know what I mean? Which I am, and I've always enjoyed doing that.
It's funny that our songs have come out still sounding so different from the same things.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point, and I think it is really, you can give different producers the same sound, same synths, whatever. They'll never end up doing the same thing or similar things. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually said this on my live stream, but I feel every time you're very gracious to me and you let us sort of depart on an even. But I said if we were actually sort of going head to head in a real battle, I think I've lost every single time we've done one of these things.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. Because like to me, it sounds. I like what you write. Do you know what I mean? So like I think. I couldn't choose between the two. Do you know what I mean? But well, we'd have to ask the public. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll put it to the people's vote and see what they say.
Yeah, is music a competition?
No, generally not.
It is now.
It's supposed to be for yourself, isn't it, more than anyone else? But
yeah. No, but like it's a fun. You get like dub wars are kind of a thing, aren't they? So
yeah, sound clash and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the session though. I just was a bit more relaxed and not stressing so much about if something's not working or whatever. You can get a bit panicked on live stream. So, but it was fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, no, like I love doing these. The only time I ever I'm always a bit nervous before a live stream, just because you never know what's going to happen. Like 1 in 10 times it can just go down the drain, really. But that was a triumph.
no internet problems.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, stuff
no
like that.
technical issues. Then you're smooth sailing.
Yeah, and I'll just remind people where they can, if you're watching it back. I think everyone that's in the chat at the moment knows where it is and stuff. And I pinned a link in my chat. But this is what we've been making sounds with tonight.
Yeah. Echoes of Light sample pack, human synthetics and grooving in G.
Yeah. If you point,
and maybe the first of many.
Yeah, hopefully. If you point to your right, I think. No, yeah. Then that is it. You're pointing at the pack. Grab it now, folks.
Oh, what I see on your
yeah, just here. Yeah, but all right, cool. Well, should we finish now then, George?
Yeah, let's wrap up because we've had a good 3 hour solid session.
Yeah, and I'm conscious of your ears and stuff. So
got to have some dinner. That's the plan now.
Oh, right, nice. All right then. Okay. Well, thank you everyone.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for dropping in, and we'll catch you soon.
Yes, we'll catch you very soon. See you later.